How's it going, everybody? I'm Kyle from Fantasy Forge Studios, and we are back after a long time with some adventures in Everlast. I'm very excited to be able to introduce a new player, someone who is familiar to the channel, but we'll get there when we get there. Don't worry. But very excited to bring a new person on. I consider this kind of like phase 3 of Everlast. Phase 1 was our 2 years of D&D campaign. Phase 2 was the beginning of the adventure here on stream. And phase 3, we have a new person playing Thordane, and kind of a big jump from there. But very excited to have all of you with me, players as always, but also the rest of everybody. You guys are amazing, an amazing community. Thank you for joining us wherever you are in the world. But without further ado, let's go ahead and jump into some character introductions, starting with Max and Zill.
Woo! Hello, everybody. I'm Max. It's been too long. Can you hear me okay?
Yeah, we can.
Oh, yeah. We good? You're good. Good. I haven't used my headphones in a while, so I wasn't sure. Before I get into Zill, quick life update for everybody and channel update. With Dane and his transition, Fantasy Forge has lost a teacher. But we have gained a teacher. 3 weeks ago, I started my job as a math teacher, so any extra prayer there would be great. I don't know what I'm doing, and
you
I
got
am
this.
so
Just,
stressed.
Smack
Students
those
start
kids.
on
That's
Monday.
life.
Smack those
It's
kids
gonna
with
be
a
great.
book.
Life
You're
is
good.
being stressed.
I don't want to be more specific of
It's all good.
where or what I'm teaching because I know my school's more a little wary of how we
You represent
it,
fine.
which I
Don't worry.
understand.
He teaches at
But-
Hogwarts.
So I'm gonna leave that in the dark.
Gosh
We
darn
do have
it, Cole.
houses. I will say that much. Cole and I were talking about we have houses actually for the students, and the staff is sorted.
like
So I'm in
Game
the
of
house of Alfred the Great. But on to Zill. Zill, our lovely, slightly naive to the ways of social life. Very excited to be the world's best smith, and he's on his way. He is Draken trained, but ready to smack things with an axe, ready to take a hit. We have Mr. Zill and his always ready to be there partner, Waffle the Mouse.
Waffle's pretty great. Yeah, I saw a really fun thing on Instagram yesterday where there was someone who saw a a manhole, and they chalk arted a mouse cooking waffles on it. It was really cool. So Waffle the Mouse, very neat. Moving on to our next character, we have Luxalia.
Hello, I am Luxalia, or as she says, I am Luxalia of the Silverwood. And yeah, I'm the resident healer of the party. Shrine Maiden Glyvin, so you know. Got them fox ears, fox tails. The amount of tails I have depend on how holy I'm feeling or something.
That's pretty
like that.
foxy.
I actually forget how that works, but yeah,
Yeah.
something like that. I'm one foxy lady, and
Oh, gosh.
yeah, and I keep people alive. Make sure nobody dies, except for Belvin, who, just kidding. She'll keep him alive too. And yeah, she's just like the goody two shoes, the holy healer lady. So that's her.
Great. Moving on to Belden.
That's it.
That's it.
Hey guys, I'm Connor. I play Belbin. He too is a Glyvin, so it's funny that Luxalia and Belbin don't get along because we're from the same species. But he's kind of a grumpy, grouchy dude. Going on a mission though. I remember last time I made a joke about being in the movie Taken. So maybe Belbin will pull off some Liam Neeson sort of stuff. We'll have to see. But yeah, he's an older dude. He's the grandpa of the group, but he keeps everyone else in line. So
And he's got a
Sometimes-
bajillion ab muscles. They're rippling.
oh yeah, loves to punch things. Loves it.
Loves it. And next, we have our returning character, Thordane, played by a new person, Ikari. If you want to go ahead and introduce, like, however much you want to about yourself, but also, yeah, just we're happy that you're here. FYI, Ikari, we gave him permission to play Thordane however he wants, and so, however he might not have a big introduction for Thordane now, but he'll get one, and it'll be great. So, Ikari.
Hello, I'm Ikari, another Australian in the mix. I'll be playing Thordane, which I haven't got much of an introduction for, other than that he is a wood elf archer, captain of the ship which brought us here. That's about it currently, but there'll be more next time.
That's all we need to know, at least for now.
That's all we need.
He's a party member. Everyone will pick up the slack. It'll be good. No, and then we finally have our last player, Yuki.
Last but certainly not least, and at the very least, not lonely anymore on this bottom row. Hey everyone, I'm Forged, or Dane, here at Fantasy Forge Studios. I play the character Mistletoe Yuki. She is a silver draken from the far north city of Flamongolith, and she is a bard, so she does all kinds of dance and stuff, but she's a blade dancing bard. So she uses 2 broadswords, and she's excited to slice up some fish people today, hopefully. Like that.
That's the way to do it. Dancing in
So
the
we go.
water. That'll be a new skill. It's water. What do they call it? Is it
Yeah,
water
well.
aerobics? Is that what they call it?
Well,
Water dancing?
no. Synchronized swimming.
Yeah, there we go.
Synchronized swimming is what they call it. So.
Perfect. Team attacks. Synchronized swimming.
Oh gosh. Yeah. Yeah.
And finally, I am Kyle. I am the Fate Weaver, creator of this game of Everlast. Very excited to be able to bring you to this wonderful world that has been in creation for, 8 years now? Yeah, it's a long time coming. More news. Speaking of Phase 3, more things to come, so don't worry. But yeah, we're moving along. I'm just very happy to be able to share this with you for the year and a half that we've been streaming this content with you. It's been a true blessing. So thanks to everybody who has joined and who continuously supports this game and supports this channel as well. Anyways,
Kyle, roll a d16. Roll a d16.
I will.
Y'all,
Do the thing.
when we started streaming this, I was still a seminarian. I was still ready to be a priest and celibate, and now I'm gonna get married in less than a month.
Oh, how times
have
have
been here-
changed.
You have been here for the whole journey,
How times have
Fantasy
changed.
Forge people.
Yeah.
Or at least a blip of the
I'm looking
journey
forward-
that a lot has
If you were wondering.
Yeah, true.
True.
I rolled a 15.
If you were wondering.
One off. I rolled a 15.
I rolled an 8.
Nice. Good stuff, everybody. And for those who don't know, Everlast is based off of a D16 system as opposed to a D20. So that's why you might be like, wow, they rolled an 8. That's terrible. That's average. So that's pretty good. Anyways, moving along into some recaps. So a lot has happened, and I know it's been a while that you guys have been able to see it, or maybe not. Who knows? Maybe have just got caught up on Everlast beforehand. But last session, Eclaas Eeas are a group of adventurers, the keepers of the Earth Key, made port at Feshenfe. Feshenfe is a elven city built both on the ground and then also below the waves. They are a race of sea elves that have over thousands of years adapted to swim, be able to swim and breathe underwater. Hence the ability to, basically live both on and below land. So that's good. That's really fun. But they very quickly came to realize that the city, while very peaceful, seems to be lots of rules that you had to follow. They had to essentially make a pledge before making their way into the city not to break any of their rules, basically out of penalty of potential expulsion from the city, which obviously is not so good. And so they have made their way. They kind of discovered a little bit about the town, went to go visit some taverns, all that fun stuff. But their goal was to go visit King Farron's, to which they made their way all the way across the city to the Royals District, to where they were greeted by King Farron with troubling news. Eclaas is here to recruit him, to bring him down to Flomberge in order, as the keeper of the Water Key, to make counsel. However, he has more pressing matters at hand. He's been searching for the past 2 weeks-ish, for his missing daughter, who was kidnapped by the Krakora, a evil sea-dwelling race. And recently has been discovered that she is kept in their stronghold in the depths of Talei. And so he desires to offer his help to them, but first he does ask a request of Eclaas, for them to help find his daughter and make sure that she is safe before he makes his way down to Flomberge to fulfill his duty as the keeper of the Water Key. And in the meantime, Zil also had messengers sent off to Folden Rock to perhaps either warn of the coming of, alert oh dang it, I just had their name, the Monteblair family, of their potential coming for the holders of the Storm Key, while they are going to rescue Princess Milo, which brings us to our first dungeon in a very long time, all the way basically a year ago in the Jungle Keep was the last time that we had a dungeon. And so, but first and foremost, lots has happened since. The preparations are made. He is not King Farron, letting you, Eclaas, have to waste resources or anything to use your ship. In fact, he has given each of you a Kelpie, the water horses that you have seen them basically ride on. He's given you a Kelpie each of you a Kelpie to be able to ride out to the location of Talei. Thordane, I'm going to have you make a knowledge skill check for me, throwing you right in. So if you look under your mind stat, there is your, it's broken into knowledge and wisdom. And so basically just on a random number generator, go ahead, do a D16 and then add your knowledge score to that.
First roll for Ikari. You got this, buddy.
Okay.
Let's
a
hope.
15.
Let's hope.
15.
Oh! Yo!
Okay, so that's 18 altogether.
18 altogether.
18.
You as an elf, the Woodland Realm is just south, actually, of Feshin Fae, and you have actually seen with your eyes a number of times these majestic creatures, these Kelpies. Essentially what they are is, from the outside, they look like normal stallions, but they have green, instead of hair, they have almost greenish, like seaweed hair. That's there. They can run on top of water. They do not swim or dive beneath the waves, but they can essentially run just as well on land as they do on water. And these are very much known to be essentially the steed of the elves of Feshin Fae whenever they go to war, which fortunately hasn't been in quite some time. It's a time of relative peace, but this is information that you know. So as you mount your Kelpie, this might be the first time you mounted a Kelpie, but you know all about them already.
Okay.
Sweet. The rest of you, how are you reacting to seeing these beasts?
Well, Yuki saw one in the distance last session, or way back in the day, like in Loch Calum, I think she saw one. So she's mesmerized though. She's like, wow, what a majestic beast. Maybe I should call this Blue Horse. Will be the name of this Kelpie.
What is that?
Very creative, Yuki.
I don't know what that is in Elvish language. Maybe I'll have to ask Thordane that. Thordane, what does Blue Horse mean in Elvish?
At this point, I think Thordane's just grossed out by the seaweed hair, probably.
Oh, nice. That's good.
He's sort of like, ugh.
It's nice and slimy.
Ugh. Wondering where to put his hands while he's sitting on the back of the horse. Like, ugh.
Zil, Luxalia, and Belvin. What about the three of you?
fascinated by the horse itself, but a little sketched out. Zill don't swim too good.
He sinks.
Most of it comes from his attachment to his armor.
He's a rock.
And armor is heavy. So logically he knows. I can breathe underwater. I got this magic thing. I can breathe underwater. It's fine. But he don't swim too good. And he's a little
It's
nervous.
okay, but, Zill, you have a horse. I'm sorry, a kelpie.
But what if it drops?
Well, then you can swim to it. It's no problem.
Yuki, I never learned how to swim.
Well, you know what, Zill? This is the perfect time to do so.
Is it Yuki? I'm a little stressed.
No time
You
like the
can't
present.
drown.
Zill, you're gonna be in trouble in battle.
Yeah. And think of it this way: if you start to flail and sink, you can still
Okay.
breathe.
Faye Weaver, you can overrule this, but I think at the start of every round, just roll up more or less a panic check.
For combat?
Of like
while
on
you're
a
in
1 or
combat?
2, Zill is too panicked. Yeah.
Okay.
On a 1 or 2, or maybe just a 1, Zill is too panicked to do anything.
That sounds terrible. Maybe you should get Thordain. You should look the
It's a
captain, my
mental
captain,
block of
for some
being underwater.
inspiration.
No, what I'll do actually.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. What I'll do is on a
I can
basically.
roll it or you can roll it.
Yeah. I'm gonna have you, Zill, in order to kind of. We'll do this. I'm gonna have you make focus checks, basically at the top of each round of what. This will only apply to combat, but at the top of each round of combat, if you make a check and you don't pass a DC of a 6, what I'm going to say is you're going to be in a state of panic, and you will automatically fall down 1 level until you basically touch sea floor.
Okay.
Basically, from
What if
levels 1 to 4.
Okay.
And so, like,
So I've
basically,
gotta
like, you
focus
panic, you're no
3.
longer swimming, and you just begin sinking. Yeah?
So I've got to think of 3, and I'm thinking of, because we're going to be in this dungeon multiple sessions, right?
Most likely.
Maybe it's a 6 this session, a 5 next session, and a 4 the session after.
We can make progress. And
Just
kind of types
as he gets more comfortable. It's a mental block. It's not a physical thing.
For sure.
That's just the thought process.
I like it.
We can. Okay.
Okay.
So let's just throw that out there. He's intrigued by the campy,
Kelpie.
but he's not
Kelpie.
But he's not excited to go underwater.
Luxalia and
Not even
Belbin,
a little
do you
bit.
guys have any
I think it's kind of cute.
concerns one way or another about this creature?
I think Belbin's pretty pumped. I think he just jumps on it, slaps it on the butt, and says, like, let's go, seahorse. Let's do this thing, baby.
Very amused.
You know, Luxalia went through a big horse phase as a girl, so she's excited.
It's a Glyvin thing.
It's a climate thing. The forest horses are a little different than the sea horses, but no, it's good. It's good. Actually, we already found out what the jungle horses are.
Hey,
on X Peaks.
a horse is a horse, you know?
That's true.
Oh, yeah.
But entertained by all of you and how you are interacting with these creatures, King Farron, he mounts his chariot. So essentially he has a chariot with 2 of these Kelpie at the front. He says, it shouldn't be too long. I know generally the location of where the depths of Talei is, but when we arrive there, we're not going to be able to take our mounts down below. We're going to have to submerge ourselves and swim to the bottom. Fortunately, these masks that I gave you will give you the ability to swim and to be able to, well, for lack of a better term, deal with the pressures as we go further and further into the depths of the sea. The depths of Talei, well, was a long-lost civilization. It was a civilization that lived within a mountain beneath. not only are we going to have to journey to the bottom of the sea in order to find the city, but we are going to have to traverse whatever mountain corridors are also beneath the waves, until we find our way to the center of the mountain, where Talei exists. I'm going to have all of you make charm checks, skill checks, in order to see how you're going to bond. Charm or influence, to see how you're going to bond with your beast for the time.
Oh yeah.
Nat 16.
Whoa, Zill. Yuki got a 17.
Which, if you're letting me do influence, is a 22.
14.
14.
Belvin got a 9. Apparently the seahorse didn't like him.
I
That's
got
better
a
than average.
10.
Well,
Those are better than average. What was yours?
What was yours, Ikari?
Oh, 10. 10. Plus, if I'm using charm, that's 12.
Okay, perfect. And so all of you are able to mount, and you grow really familiar. Yeah, Belbin, you jump on and you slap that horse's booty, and it turns around and goes and kind of like whinnies at you, but it doesn't seem to be too deterred. As all of them actually don't have eyes on the road at all, but they have eyes on the chariot in front of you. And with great speed, without you having to do anything, each of these horses begin following the chariot down throughout the city. As you leave the nobles' quarters, you make your way through kind of the outer ring wall gate that surrounds the city. You look back and you see basically Prince Aquilin, so the one who rode up with King Farron. And he calls out to you, "Don't worry, Dad. I'll make sure to keep everything nice and safe here while you're gone. Do your best, each one of you. Don't get lost down in the dark." And with that, you begin to make your way down through the city. And these horses, they move like horses at a pretty decent pace, just galloping along. You have to do nothing to control them. As I had mentioned, their eyes are focused completely on chariot in front. You'll notice as you make your way down through the city streets that everybody seems to almost know that King Farron is coming in the presence, even though you don't make too much noise. And the way has pretty much already parted. All of the elves, essentially the Fesh and Fey elves, are on the side, watching each and every one of you, concerned, looking at you all with, well, you're not sure. I'm going to have all of you make wisdom skill checks for me.
Ooh, the dice tower, I can hear it.
Wisdom. That is a 11 for Yuki.
17 for Belvin.
5.
5 for Zill. Zill's loving his horse.
I had my good roll and now I'm screwed.
14.
It's a 12 plus the 3, so that's 15.
Sweet. So all of you, with the exception of Zill, you are fascinated with this creature. If anything, you are spending your time not concerned about where you're going, as this horse seems to be going exactly where you want it to, but trying to bond to a certain degree with the creature. You're patting its side, you're petting it, even through its slimy, seaweedy hair. This is endearing to you. It's grimy, but you're used to grime from growing up, and so it doesn't bother you.
I
too
am.
much. So,
Hey, Zill.
Nice horsey.
Zill, you get some inspiration, by the way.
I do?
Enjoy that. Mhm.
Let's go. Thank you, Kami. I
Perfect,
need
perfect.
it.
So as all of you make your way through the city, one thing that you actually notice, Belbin, as
Oh,
the group rolls their way down, is all of these elves seem to be looking at you with mixed reactions. Very surprised to see probably non-Fesh and Fey elves, but at the same time, they look with you with a bit of encouragement, as if they kind of understand. You lock eyes with a few of them, and there's a kind of like this sense of duty that goes between the two of you, and you find yourself kind of inspired to a degree. You can go ahead and gain hope as well.
Ooh, yeah.
And with that, you make your way down. Probably takes you about 5 minutes to get down to the shore from all the way up where the the Royals district is. Out into the harbor that you originally came in, you noticed that there was this ramp when you first arrived that helped you make your way from the on land part of the city down to the below part of the city. You go on this ramp, all of your horses, and immediately, Zill, you're holding on for dear life, but silently and very fluidly, as if it feels like you haven't even left the shore, these kelpie's hooves begin to grip the top of the water as you begin moving towards the direction of the chariot. You guys, I'm going to give you all probably but a moment to be able to do whatever preparations you need before jumping into a dungeon, meaning with your adventurer's pouches, if your adventurer's pouches are empty or need to be refilled, this is your time to be able to restock everything with the stuff in your inventory. For those who don't know, your adventurer's pouch is your onboard storage. So in Everlast, you have a storage backpack, which you basically use to store all of your stuff. But in the middle of combat, well, maybe you'll be able to dig in and get your stuff however you want, just at your leisure while you're exploring. In the middle of combat, each combat round is 10 seconds in total. And so what you can use in combat is everything that's equipped into your adventurer's pouch. And so essentially you can use a support action to grab whatever that is out of there and be able to use it. But it has to be in your adventurer's pouch. If not, in order to restock your adventurer's pouch, you have to use a turn action, which basically means you can't do anything on your turn. You call it at the beginning of your movement phase, and you can restock then. So this is going to be your time to be able to look at the stuff that you have in your inventory and restock it into your adventurer's pouch. We don't have to roleplay that.
Quick
or
question.
anything, but yes.
Can we drink things underwater?
That's a good question.
Obviously.
You cannot.
Like potions. No, we can't drink potions underwater. Oh, what if we like put it up to our thing, go like this, so none leaves our mouth like this.
Just like
Just like this.
suck it through the mask. Just yeah, that's not gonna work.
Oh,
Yeah.
rough. Well, I have nothing.
So
I have
essentially,
nothing
what
then.
you're going to have to rely on at this point is healing arts, such as what both Thordane has and Luxalia has. So if you're unfamiliar with those and what your healing arts do, you might want to try to use them as sparingly as possible. One thing that you do notice as you look at King Farron's face, he has this kind of gaze of determination. And I'm actually, for everybody to be able to see here, give me 1 second. For everybody to be able to see, why is that there? Interesting. This is King Farron of Fashion Fae.
Oh, are we getting official art drops today? Hold up.
Not official art drops.
Okay.
We're gonna put him over Belbin's face, just because.
Right over my head.
Yeah, right over your head.
Wow.
So everybody
He's cool
on screen.
looking.
He's really cool. So what you've noticed is the armor that he has looks very light, but it is very armored. He has this large crown upon his head. Here, actually, I'll put him in front of my face. Make him bigger. He has this large crown upon his head that has kind of this fin-like texture, but it looks to be made of a bronzish gold with a small gem that actually almost radiates from the central gem in the crown. He has flowing brown hair, and he has this aura of authority about him, but he also has this kind of look of kindness too. His eyes are steely gray, and he has small kind of patches of blue. You're actually familiar with this to a degree, Yuki, as they almost kind of look like scales around his hairline and around his cheeks. This is something that Draken tend to have as well. And so this is a relatively familiar, but it's relatively aquatic looking too. He carries on his side a large katana, and you can tell that he has probably some decent martial prowess with the weapon that he has, based on the way that he holds himself as well. Yeah, he's a very impressive figure. So he is also going to be joining you in the depths here as an NPC character to be able to go.
So we're not going to die, is what you're telling me.
Hopefully not.
We've got the king of the Fashion Fae.
You do
joining
have the
us.
king. You do have the king of the Fashion Fae, which is super duper nice.
Are we still subject to the rules of Fashion Fae that
outside
we
of
like
Fashion
swore an oath
Fae?
to?
You are not. You are out in
Okay.
the open sea and not within the borders of Fashion Fae at this point.
Good to know.
Yep.
Good.
And
to
so
know.
you make your way out, probably running for about an hour and a half. And it's a smooth ride. You don't notice that your backs or your bodies are hurting at all from the journey. Until immediately you stop over this central point. You look around you and you don't even see anything. There's no sign of land in any direction. Clearly, this isn't too far from the shores of Fashion Fae. And King Ferrand, he turns his chariot over to look at all of you and says, well, from what the sources say, this is where the last remaining civilization of the men before the great sea took them. From here on, we're going to have to abandon our steeds, and they will wait for us up top. We will venture down to the bottom, down into the darkness. This is a very, very important task. And I might ask, how are all of your swimming abilities?
I'm a pretty good swimmer. I swam as a kid.
I think not
to
terrible,
know.
but not amazing. I mean,
I-
my wings help, and she flaps her wings a little bit.
I'm proficient.
I know how to swim.
Oh, glad to hear a captain knows how to swim.
Other than that,
That makes me happy at least.
I haven't much experience with it.
Well, if that is the case, I will slow my pace down to keep with the rest of you. But do know that whatever we face down there, whatever threats, if you can swim, if you can move around, I do not recommend, if you can help it, and he looks to you, Thordain, specifically, and actually to Yuki as well, using your ranged weapons. It is an art to be able to use weapons such as those under the water, and you will find that your mark might not land as easily as, well, maybe up here. If you all have the ability, and he kind of examines each one of you. Actually, with the exception of Belbin, he doesn't see any weapons on Belbin, but he looks at all of you and he sees Belbin, and just, if all of you have the ability to fight in close quarters, that might be your best bet to be able to survive whatever threats we find down below. Are all of you ready? Or do you have any last-minute preparations before we dive below?
I have a question.
Me too. Me too. Go ahead. Go ahead. Come on.
Okay. Oh, I should change my name on there. Okay, it
He's
doesn't
an
matter.
angry mathematician.
Angry Euler.
Yeah.
Euler.
Yeah.
It's Euler.
Euler, yeah.
Come on.
Euler. Oh yeah. My question being, silver. If I change from my ash staff, which
Mhm.
is flame powered,
Mm-hmm.
to my silverwood staff, which is frost.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think I have the proficiency yet. Would I still be able to use it at all, or just?
Yes. Essentially,
do
if you're casting, like for example, you can boop with it, but if you boop with it, you basically just get the flat roll. You don't get any bonuses from your physical modifier. If you fire, basically use a charge of mana, you don't get any damage modifier from your elemental roll,
Yeah.
but you can still shoot with it. Essentially, it's just whatever the base roll, which is essentially like you just get a ranged attack with, like a 30-foot ranged attack with your weapon. So.
Gotcha.
It's ice damage,
Um,
and it automatically freezes if
Then I will equip
if they
that.
fail their survival check. So it gains frozen, so it's an additional effect, which is nice.
So, quick question: as far as being like starting our adventure, do we need to decide any of like the adventuring roles or anything, or is that just the travel phase?
So that's technically this is kind of like a pseudo adventure. It's not that
Okay.
far from the city, so we're not going to roll any kind of travel rules at the moment, as this is essentially just a dungeon, as it were.
Okay.
I'm assuming you're not going to be exploring the wide open sea after this, but it's kind of just more of just a quick fetch quest. Quick. We'll see. We'll see
Cool.
how quick
Okay,
it is.
that was all.
Cool. Nice. Anything else? No? Yes.
To hit with that, I'm
Mhm.
not seeing a to hit in my inventory.
Automatically
with the
hits,
weapon.
doesn't it?
For the magic?
Would it? The other one says 5.
5.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, basically you don't get any modifiers with that, which would be basically...
That's for the ash staff.
For the ash staff? You get your ranged attack and then your
The ash
melee
staff,
attack.
it says hit 5.
Okay. So that's probably taking into account
So,
your
okay,
melee.
so there's just no
Your
modifier.
melee plus your the +1 because it's an ash staff. Because you are using the silverwood staff, that's going to be a +3 to hit on basically your range. So basically it's just a roll +3, a d16 +3, which is really good. But that's pretty nice. You don't get any other melee or ranged bonuses for that.
Yuki actually turns to King Farron at the same time, and before we head underwater, she says, King Farron, are we going to be able to communicate underwater? I don't know if I've ever attempted to talk under the waves before.
Normally, sound doesn't travel very far beneath the waves, hence the reason the Krakora are such a stealthy foe. But you will find, as he takes basically your cloth mask, and he attaches it. Basically, it's kind of like off to the side, and he attaches it, and essentially like it clips and it like covers over your mouth and your nose. You will find when you speak with this, your words will travel much further than normal. At least normally underwater. Meaning, all of you, for any kind of communication that you want to do, you can talk to each other within 30 feet of each other.
Okay. Very good.
Last question. Do we have an adventuring backpack on our sheet that we need to fill out?
Oh, the adventurer's pouch? Or backpack?
Yeah, adventurer's pouch, sorry.
It should be on your sheet down by your items.
Yeah, where the ES, EC, and EP is, it's connected in the same thing. It's right by your
Gotcha.
arts. Yeah, right there.
Okay, yep, I see it.
Sweet.
Cool.
If there are no other further questions, shall we? Make sure to don your masks, and under any circumstances, do not remove them. They only gain effectiveness if they're donned above the waves. If it is removed from your faces, I do fear that you might not have the ability unless we are somehow able to find air to reattach it. Is this understandable?
Okay.
Understandable.
Aye, King Farron.
He says a gentle word in Elvish to the Kelpie that are there, and he immediately dives beneath the waves. You can see in the crystal blue waters him swimming around as he bids you each to move forward.
Time to go down under.
Going down,
Do we need a marching order with this?
Not necessarily. But I'm gonna have all of you, as you do, make mind survival checks. So essentially, this is just using your total mind stat.
Okay. It's a 13 for Yuki.
Okay.
14 for Belbin.
12.
So that's just the total. I don't roll any dice or anything.
So you roll the d16 plus the total of your mind stat. So basically your modifier, not plus like the 15 or whatever it is.
So that's a +6 for you.
Okay.
Ordain.
Oh, that was a 16.
Nat 16.
Ooh.
Nat 16, yo.
Okay. So 16 plus 6 or 16 plus 13?
16 plus 6.
Okay.
Plus 6.
Yeah, so 22. Right.
22. Wow. And Zil, what was yours?
12.
12. You all jump in, and Zill, you actually begin to notice that with your armor on, you just begin to sink. Nobody else. Yuki, you are a little bit, but with your wings, you're able to kind of more like tread and float there for a bit. And King Farron, he begins to speak, and bubbles begin to come out of his mouth. It is faint, definitely fainter than it was above the waves, but you can clearly hear him say, "Down below." And as you look, you see kind of like this vast green expanse. You can see that it gets darker and darker and darker. There's a subterranean mountain range that lies below our feet. Stay close and follow me. Light sources are going to be difficult to be able to come by. But, and he shakes, essentially, he takes out this vial from his pouch and he shakes it. And he puts it basically on a chain that is around his neck. It's a small little glowing bioluminescent container that sheds about 10 feet of light around him. If you do get lost, stick to me. And you all begin to swim downwards, downwards and downwards. You do feel that it gets drastically colder as you begin to go downwards to the depths, and slowly it begins to get darker as well. It's not a fun sight. It's kind of similar to what Zill was concerned about earlier. It's this out-of-body experience, but it's a strange experience where you're breathing and each breath almost seems labored, not because it's hard to breathe, but because being in the water, you shouldn't feel like you can breathe down here. And so in instances, some of you feel like almost kind of have to like catch your breath, remembering, oh yeah, I can breathe down in this environment. But all of you are fine at the moment. None of you are too... It's not in your head, and without much time you begin to be used to it as you get to acclimate to the cloth. But you begin to dive deeper and deeper. 100 feet, 200 feet, 300 feet, 400 feet. You begin to lose track of time. About 2,000 feet below, darkness has mostly begun to take over. You can see nothing except for the radiant glow around King Farron as he skillfully swims his way down, keeping pace with the rest of you, down towards the bottom of the sea. It's dark. It seems hopeless. It's strange to think that this was once a land where people lived, as all light has been completely shut out from this place. You dive another 1,000 feet, 2,000 feet, 3,000 feet. I'm gonna have all of you make Constitution saving or Fortitude survival checks for me. So similar to the mind, this is just your Fortitude modifier.
Good thing I'm good at Fortitude. 12.
Okay.
10.
17 for Yuki.
13. All up.
Sorry, 11.
Unnatural 16.
All of you begin to descend deeper without feeling too much the effects of the pressure, as you can feel the weight of the ocean beginning to press on you. You feel heavy, especially you, Zill. You feel quite heavy. Belbin as well, to a degree, but maybe it's just the armor that you have, Zill, that makes you feel that way. But Belbin, you're feeling like your easy swimming that you had before. It seems almost kind of like this pressure from the ocean is pushing towards your sides. You're going to Belbin and Zill for the next 2 hours until you become acclimated, lose 5 feet of swimming speed.
Great. I already can't move.
So, but you're at 10 feet, right? 10 feet of swimming speed?
With the minus, yeah.
Yeah, 10 feet. Okay, so you begin to continue. The pace slows a little bit, but you can see that in kind of the radial glow from this necklace from King Farron, there is a large rocky edifice that starts to emerge. you have made your way down to the undersea mountains. Still dark. Down here, this far below the ocean, you don't even see any signs of sea life. It's just you, the group of you, slowly making your way down. King Farron turns to all of you and says, somewhere around here there should be an entrance. As this was once a civilization that lived here, they did have trade with the other locales around the area, meaning there should be a decent-sized hole for us to be able to make our way into the mountain. I'm going to have all of you, as you begin to search, either make knowledge skill checks or focus skill checks for me.
Is it dark in general? Like just in, like
It's
pretty
very
dark.
It's pitch black.
Okay. Yuki is going to use her rhythmic lights. So as a support action, she's going to summon the 3 orbs of light that last for up to 30 minutes, and that's what she's going to do to try to light up the area a little bit more.
You do
to
so,
help out.
And as everyone's looking with some relative trouble, all of a sudden these 3 orbs, Yuki takes out her harp and she begins to play and hum a little tune, and these 3 orbs like poof, poof, poof. They look to be as if fire, but they're not fire to the touch. I believe Belbin is familiar with this, as this was used last back in the jungles on Aishan Island.
Mm-hmm.
They're manic spheres that shed a blue glow that surrounds the area, like a blue whitish glow, and it immediately lights up the mountainside. All of you are going to have hope on this roll.
Cool. And what kind of roll is this again? Sorry.
Either a knowledge or a knowledge
Focus?
or focus skill check.
Okay.
12.
So hope is basically you roll another one and you take the higher.
Unnatural 16.
Unnatural 16.
15
That
for
hope
Yuki.
was helpful.
12.
Yeah.
What was that, Tony?
The hope was helpful. I got a nat 1 on the first roll. That second roll was a 7, so with the focus, that's 11.
So, both Belbin and Luxalia, as you gaze upon this mountainside, you can see about a third of the way up from its base, you can spot that there is a small road that begins to wind its way up the mountainside, and there is a not huge hole, but a decent sized hole, probably about 10 feet wide and 15 feet tall, that looks relatively like an entrance. This is clearly a path that has been used to go inside this mountain in the past, or even still today.
Belbin, do your Glyve and I see what my Glyve and I see?
Yeah, there's a hole up there, and clearly there's a path.
Oh yeah, let's follow it.
Should we swim or should we follow the path?
I mean, whatever's quicker. Probably just swim.
Okay.
I don't know.
The rest of you guys can
I
come
don't know,
along too
maybe
if
like-
you want.
What? Yeah. Hey everyone! We found a hole.
I'll try my best.
Perhaps
Yeah,
you
Zil,
should
you
just
might be hiking
walk
up it.
along the bottom, Zil.
It's like
Yeah.
that scene in Pirates of the
It's
Caribbean
okay,
where
it's
they're
okay.
just like, look at the zombie guys.
Dylan and Thordan are like, we don't want any of this.
And Yuki is gonna just like hover a little bit above, giving off light with her orbs.
Mhm.
Given that, so just a little bit above them, maybe 1 level above if she can.
Mhm. For sure.
Yeah.
You swim slowly towards the
Yeah.
entrance. King Farron, he swims out kind of very speedily out in front of you. Think of like the Zora from Majora's Mask, and just quickly out in front of you. And you can see that his body kind of disappears a little bit, but you can still tell where he is based off of his necklace and the light that comes from that. He disappears inside the hole and immediately comes back out to join you as you all make your way to the entrance. It's a grand mountain, but a relatively small hole. You're kind of surprised at this point, as there's a decent amount of barnacles and coral and whatnot that have kind of formed their way around the sides of this tunnel, meaning it is very sharp as well. So by just basic investigation and looking around kind of at the general area, you probably don't want to be scraping yourself along the sides, as it looks very sharp. King Farron says,
One at a time.
yes. How? Yeah, what marching order? Let's grab marching order here.
So you
Yuki-
can go first.
Yuki's gonna be
No,
in the
Zill's gonna be
middle.
last.
I just spilled my water everywhere, so I gotta go clean it up. So Yuki will be in the middle somewhere. Be right back.
Yeah.
You spilled your water
Well,
underwater.
I just thought, you know,
Spilled it
Belden,
everywhere.
Yuki has, who are you, Zill? One, he's sinking really well. So,
I'm
like,
good at
use
sinking.
that to our advantage. Because this hole, I think, goes down. Yeah. Or is
So
it, like,
from what
in
you
the
can tell, it looks like it's like a tunnel that goes forward, and so you've made your way, and it's kind of like a tunnel that winds its way
Oh.
forward, kind of like an entrance to some kind of cavern system.
Well, you know, classic hiking rules. Slowest leads.
That's me.
Right?
That's right.
Make him set
And then
the
if
pace.
if we start going downhill, he can just be the fastest all of a sudden, not crush us.
So it is. So one thing that you will note is
Yeah.
it is a 10-foot wide. So you can technically have two at the front, meaning King Farron will also take his place next to you, Zill. At the front. Yuki wants to be in the middle.
Helping.
Luxalia, Belbin, and Thordane. Where do you guys want to be in this marching order?
I'll
I
be in
feel
the
like
middle too.
Thordane probably would want to stay close by Zeal because he's, struggling with the weight of his armor.
Yeah. So we'll do this. Does that mean, is there
good
any
call.
particular order? Do you want to do like a little tail function here, guys, at the end, or do you want to go side by side?
Oh yeah.
I like
I
tails.
don't care.
Okay.
Side by side is fine.
Oh. Which one?
Tails never fails.
Yeah, do
Blue
tails.
tails.
Sweet. Cool. And so,
Yeah.
you...
Wait, who's
You better
behind me?
watch out.
Belbin?
So
Oh, I'm gonna
Belbin's
die.
down here. Do you want to be at the back? What is this? What do you guys want to do?
Oh no. No, I'll. It's fine. He can bring up the caboose. I'll trust him this time.
All right, perfect. You
He
begin
and
to...
Omnia are on thin ice, so
Who are you to judge?
watch
How do you
yourself.
know where we are?
I'm
I
assuming
saw
all
you
this
the
conversation
other
is just
day.
happening out loud. Where am I
Yeah.
placing myself? You and Alomni are on
Don't
thin
just
ice.
whispers to Thordane. Should we be concerned about them? He
No.
whispered to Thordane.
Oh, yeah, I didn't hear.
Should we be concerned about those two?
I think we definitely should be.
Hmm?
You don't even know what we're talking about.
I just heard Alomnia and Thin Ice.
This is
Oh.
good.
I was absent for a moment, but you know what? Are we side by side?
Okay.
Is that what
Yuki.
the last I heard?
King
Luke
Farron
Sully
looks-
was saying
spilled
that
your
you're on
water.
thin
Outside.
ice with Alomnia.
No, that is now Luxalia.
No, it's no.
So
I
are we
said you're
linking
on
arms
thin
and are we
ice
saying
with
lions,
Alomnia.
tigers, and bears? Oh my! Lions, tigers, and bears. Oh
Oh
my!
my, yeah,
Okay.
basically. Follow the long winding road. Follow the long winding road.
One thing you realize is it is dark. You do have the lights that are kind of hanging around the middle of the group, shedding more light than even King Farron's at the very front. But you swim through these corridors and you notice that there are multiple tunnels that basically veer off from this main kind of tunnelway to the point where you can't really tell like what's the main pathway or not. It seems to be this kind of maze of underground corridors, as it were. And you'll realize as you go deeper and deeper into this mountain, the waters are starting to become murky. I'm gonna have all of you make wisdom skill checks for me. Actually,
Ow.
let's see. Who do we got? I'm gonna have Belbin and Zill make wisdom skill checks for me, being at the front and the back.
You are lucky I'm at the back. 18.
Well, he rolled an 18, so we're not gonna use our thing. 8.
8. So Belbin, as you examine why these waters are growing murkier and murkier, as if there's definitely something that swims through here regularly. It's not just you that are kicking up any kind of dirt or sediment that's basically on the sides or the bottom of this area. There seems to be something that regularly makes its way through. You can see that there's kind of a small trail along the bottom, as if something is kind of sliding along the bottom as well. This is something that just is immediately brought to your attention. But it is, as you continue to go forward deeper into these tunnels, it becomes murkier and murkier.
Hey guys, I think something is sliding along the bottom here. It seems like we're on some sort of a pathway. Just keep your eyes open. Got it, Zill? You're up front with the king. You'll be fine. I'll be back here if you need me.
And with that, I'm going to have everybody make a physical skill check.
Woo! I'm actually good at those. We'll see if we can.
Ooh, nat 16, baby.
Oh.
That's a
Nat 16!
12.
23.
12 for a third.
So 18.
21 for Yuki.
Holy smokes. You begin.
Let's go!
It becomes
Don't mess
so,
with us.
It becomes so murky that you're having a difficult time finding any kind of trails or paths. If anything, you feel like because of this, you're becoming more and more lost as you begin to traverse these different, basically these different tunnels. You're trying to stay to the same tunnel throughout, but immediately as you pass by one of the corridors, you feel like this giant push of water. Boom! You're all able to swim and tread water in place to not get smashed against the side of the tunnel into the rocky, barnacle-y side. But you do notice with one of these currents, one of these tunnels, a strong current is coming out of it as if it's pushing water. This could be the reason for the murky waters, but you are unsure.
So what you're saying, Belbin, is there's a large Alaskan bullworm that might be coming through here or something.
Luxoy, I don't know if King Farron is appreciating your sense of humor when his daughter's been kidnapped by these things.
Alaskan bullworms are as real as I know. I'll have to ask my seahorse mystery about it later.
Where's Alaska? I've never heard of it. Is this Alaska?
We saw. Yeah. There's just a really big pink worm.
Oh,
Maybe, or something different.
that doesn't sound all that scary. I think we'll be okay if we
I don't
encounter
know.
this
Into
Alaskan
houses.
bullworm. What?
I've heard tales of this Alaskan bullworm.
Oh, well, hopefully we don't encounter it. How big are they? Will we be able to see it? It's pink.
Oh yeah, it's very
Oh.
large.
Okay.
Very large indeed.
Oh.
I've only heard stories. I've never seen one.
Zill, while this conversation is going, I'm gonna have you roll a d6 for me. You're at the front. You are at the front, so no modifiers. So
Yeah, you
essentially,
are.
these are going to be navigation. So one.
You got it.
It's a 1.
Oh. Use your inspiration.
Oh dear.
What are
Why
you
do we put
doing?
Zill in front? Why does he have
Why
to
do we let
suck
Zill
his?
do anything?
It's just a d6. The chances of a 1 are more
You
likely,
got
I guess.
this.
Yeah. So you know, one of the things, Zill, that you realize coming from this corridor, you see that you feel that there's this large current, but it seems to almost be distracting from something that is moving below you.
There's something moving below us? Guys, something moved.
Is it the Alaska
Yeah.
bullworm?
Probably.
Yuki looks
I don't
around.
know.
I'm gonna have all of you make
Something-
stealth checks for me.
Oh lord.
Shit. Do
You're
I-
good though, because it's underwater, so you're stealthier.
Do I take my armor disadvantage or -2?
No, technically, because
Okay.
it's noise related and you're kind of muffled.
Muffled.
12 for Yuki.
Non-natural
14 for Melvin.
16.
That's a non-natural 16 for
No.
King Farron too.
Nice.
13 for me altogether.
17.
Also, I forgot my fancy metal dice. I'm gonna go grab them. I'll be right back.
And
Do it.
Melvin, what was your stealth check?
14.
14. As this is brought to your attention, and Zil kind of mentions this, you all look down, and with some focus, you're able to see there are a number of shapes that are moving inside the dirt beneath your feet. And you can just catch what look to be fins coming outside of the dirt.
Hey.
But you have not
That's-
been detected yet.
Well, that's
Are
not
we
very...
standing on it or are we swimming?
No, you're swim. So I'm assuming that you're kind of like halfway up in the tunnel swimming, and so like these are like swimming underneath you.
Okay.
Yuki turns to the group and says, that's not very fantastic, is it? We should be quiet.
You're right.
I like how everyone appreciates the puns more than an AME.
I
Everyone
know,
is
in
just
AME.
Like, I think that's
Bring
a pretty. I think
on
they're
the
pretty fantastic too.
Yeah. Thank you. So maybe we should be...
What were they? What did I miss?
What's an
AME's
AME?
Adventures Middle Earth, our Wednesdays ones we do. Yeah.
Oh.
There's fins below us, Zil.
Yeah, sticking out
There's
of the dirt.
snaking.
Fins, that's all we
That's
know.
all we know.
Yep.
King Farron.
It's fantastic.
Should we be concerned about these fins?
He puts up a hand to you and says,
he's
and
next
he
to me,
looks
right?
down, puts up a hand to you and goes, shh. As he looks down to see,
Silence.
they seem to be moving kind of through the corridor as if they have not noticed you. The murkiness might be an attribution to this, and the fact that you all passed your stealth checks as well. He says, shh, and he looks.
Yeah.
If I'm not mistaken, these are mud sharks. Have not encountered them very often in my time, as they are, well, creatures that dwell along the bottom. They are fierce and they're very territorial. Let's proceed with caution. From what you can tell, there are around 4 fins that are down below in the tunnels. Zil, I'm gonna have you roll another d6 for me.
Oh no. What if Zil doesn't want to? 5.
Roll.
5.
Oh man.
Why? Oh man.
As you begin.
Oh man.
That's a D6 thing.
As you begin to start kind of making your way, swimming silently back through the corridor that you're continuing down, the rest of you can start to hear some kind of resonance. It's still pretty dark. Yuki's beams are still going. At this point, 2 of them have faded, so about 20 minutes have passed as you've been traversing these tunnels. So you still have 1 sphere that is still present, keeping everything lit. But you look around, and there's a small corridor shoot off. This is probably about a 10 feet, so the 15-foot tunnel shrinks to about 10 feet down this one. No water comes out, but you can hear a resonance coming through there, which is impressive considering you're underwater. But there is also a dim glow that is coming from this entrance as well.
King Farron, do you have any idea of what that is? Yuki points in that direction.
He's going to make a check to see if he does. He does not. He got a nat 3. As far as I know, unless it's any kind of magic or anything's for a moment. Bioluminescent algae, but I don't think it would make this noise. I'm afraid I don't know what this could be.
Does it seem malevolent? Is there any specific signs that it might be so?
Go ahead for me and make a wisdom check for me.
Just you here.
Just Yuki.
13 plus 3, 16, dirty 16.
Not necessarily. It does seem inviting, though. As your lights begin to fade, this kind of radiant glow almost draws you towards it. But it doesn't seem like the void energy that it's not like a red, like pulsating, like void energy.
Well, maybe we should check it out. I mean, of course, be very careful about it, but I mean, I don't know how much longer I can keep these lights up. What do you think, group?
I think we need to be
That's-
careful just in case it turns out to be some other kind of murder fish.
You know, Thordain, that's the wisest words you've said in quite some time.
This is true.
I appreciate that, Captain.
It's been like a year.
I know. I'd have to agree with that. What about the rest of you? What say you? I can't hear you, Luxali. Are you talking? Hello?
Yeah, let's move forward with caution. I was wondering why you were ignoring me.
You know, it's hard to hear under the ocean. We're trying to be quiet.
I get it, yeah. I just said, if they seem inviting enough, let's go hang out. Let's knock.
And King Farron, he says in reply to, I've never seen something quite like this down below the ocean depths this deep. I would be lying if I said I wasn't curious, especially if it does prove to be what gives us any signs to where my daughter is.
Yeah.
So forward we go.
Forward it is.
Zill,
Lead it
knock.
on.
Or,
Okay.
yeah, I don't know. Try the door. Maybe they left it unlocked and we could sneak in and ambush them. But, I don't know. If I was at my house and someone did that, I would immediately not trust them. So, you know.
Well, we are
Maybe
dealing with
not.
Krakora. I don't think knocking's gonna be appreciated. You know?
Yes. Actually, we'll
You don't
go
know?
into a little bit of discourse on that during your time and your travel to the depths of Talei here.
Yeah.
King Farron would have described to you Krakora. They are fierce enemies of the Feshin Fey Elves. And within probably the past 150, 200 years, they've really started to make more of a presence. They at first were kind of just these undersea creatures that minded their own business, but as they started to kind of intrude more on the fishing grounds of the Feshin Fey Elves, they basically became a threat, and so the Feshin Fey Elves started driving them back. But again, about 150, 200 years ago, there seems to have become a sentience to them. They are no longer just undersea creatures that are competing for food, but they have malevolence behind them, and they have learned to develop a language as well, as if they are evolving at a rapid pace. They are serpent-like creatures that swim, and they have almost eel-like features in the heads. They have basically like humanoid torsos with arms, and again, eel-like heads, and then long kind of like snake-like bodies and tails instead of feet. They can range anywhere from 5 feet all the way to 10 feet in length. And they have, in those recent years that they've started to become sentient, begun to take up arms as well. And learn how to start using weapons. They are fiercely territorial. If they are caught alone, they are pretty cowardly. but they are in groups. They tend to be pretty much fight to the death. As far as that goes, they are obviously deep sea creatures, and so they are adept swimmers as well. And one thing that King Farron would have pointed out with the whole mud sharks is the fact that they're probably not Krakora. Well, they're not Krakora, they're mud sharks, so they're a different kind of creature. But FYI, that's stuff you should have known beforehand, so now you know going forward.
Great.
Well, I see that we have 4 options. Turn around and go home, knock,
That is not an
kick
option.
the door in. Knocking is not an option?
Turning around and leaving.
Yeah, exactly. So 3 options.
Is that from
like
the
I said.
king or is that from the Fey Weaver?
That's from the king.
Kick in the door and ambush him like the FBI. Or,
It's Yuki's specialty.
yeah, or pick the lock and sneak in and then ambush them. I say we just knock. Maybe they're friendly. We don't know that this is the Krakora, right? Do we? Do we know that?
Maybe we just wiggle the handle a
Yes.
little bit. Just wiggle it.
I
Just
must have
wiggle that
not
handle.
explained very well. It's another corridor. It's not a door per se. It's basically like a corridor
Oh.
that was carved out of the side of the mountain. And
I
you see
was
like
wondering
That's
whether-
what I
whether
thought.
the
Yeah,
door handle
that's what I
was
thought.
I'm sorry, I
Yeah,
heard
that's
the
what I thought.
door part of
Sorry about
corridor.
that. Yeah, sorry, corridor.
No, that's my bad. Sorry, guys.
Is there more of those doors down there?
Corridors.
More doors?
Da 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 da. Bum.
You don't simply walk in.
Yeah, let's.
That's
How
what they
about
say.
Zill
We'll
keeps
swim in then.
walking
How's that
forward,
sound?
and if we get attacked, we fight.
Am I just y'all's crash test dummy?
Kind of.
It's all you're ever
But
good
I'm
for.
here to
is
keep
it?
you alive. You're all good.
Let's go.
And also, we could try to talk him down. Thordain's really good at that.
Do we want to adjust our order? Or are we good with our marching order?
Yeah, so basically from what I'm hearing, because this
Bring
is
it
a
on.
smaller kind of 10-foot tunnel, you can still kind of be abreast the way you are. But you can change it up just in case there's like any more like movement space that you want to be able to have.
Should we like
I think
stagger it? Not like
Thordain-
a line, but like boom, 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 boom.
Yeah, I think we should make an I formation. So I think Thordain should go to the back, double up with his pal Belbin back there, and then Yuki and I single file in the middle, and then
I'll be
two guys
behind
up front.
Zill. Yeah, I'll be
Yeah,
behind
yeah.
Zill.
Do we,
That
do we have
is
any, what,
that is a nice shape that we just made right there.
Well, you got.
Do we have any
There we
sense
go.
of
It's an I.
Aaron's role, combat role is?
What was
What?
that? What about King
What
Farron?
was that? Yeah.
Oh, King Farron, what his
Do you have
combat
any
role
sense
is?
of
You
what-
haven't discovered that yet.
Yeah.
Nice.
But as
Hey,
he swims
King
forward, he
Farron,
keeps
are
his
you
hand
more
on his
like
katana.
I'm gonna stab you
Do we
kind of
wanna
person?
ask
Are you
him?
more like I can take a hit? What's your deal?
If you want to
Yeah.
ask him,
Where
feel
where
free.
do you want to be in the order, King?
Zill's asking. Go
Mm.
for it, Zill.
I'm asking. Where would you like to be? I
Wherever
take
you would
most
like
of the
to,
hits
but-
for the group.
I'm very much capable of taking a hit
Where
as well.
where are you most?
However, I do find
Okay.
that, well, my place is perhaps not towards the rear of the formation, unless you need any kind of guard towards the back, but I am indeed curious as well, as light is beginning to fade from our friend here. I just assumed that I would be taking a front forward approach, but we are going into these caves, which clearly have light coming from them, so either way, I'm fine.
Wait a second.
You have my blade regardless of the circumstance that we come across.
We can't use ranged attacks, yeah?
You can, but they're going to be at disadvantage and at half the range. Or despair.
Except for my magic ones.
Except for your magic, which is
Right.
the full 30. So, which is like still like
So-
less than half of like a bow. So,
Alright. Cool. Yeah, we're good. I like that formation. If we get attacked from the
Like
back,
this
we got
for
our
us.
melee guys. If we get attacked from the front, we got our tanks. Thank you very much.
all right.
Forward!
Forward you march. And so you slip your way into this smaller tunnel. The shark fins that are below you seem to not be present in this corridor. But there's a radiant glow of what look to be crystals at the far end. It's a relatively shallow entrance. There are crystals sticking out in every which way from top to bottom, and it kind of expands at the very end of the hall until essentially a 20-foot sphere with all of these crystals jutting out from every direction. It illuminates the room with these vibrant blue hues and green hues of blues and green. And the crystals in this chamber possess some kind of unique elemental properties. I'm gonna have each one of you make an elemental skill check for me.
Oh no.
That's a natural 16 for Yuki, which is
I'm not good at
a 17.
Okay.
That's a 4 for Belbin.
Okay.
11.
11.
Nine
So one at a
plus
time. Keep those
three.
in mind. You begin to feel, all of you, different. Yeah, Zil, what was yours?
Nat 1.
Wow.
Nat 1 for total
Wow.
2.
Wow.
Okay, that's nice.
Maybe
Is
it's
it-
a good thing I moved away.
I'm trusting
Yeah.
you to nat 16 to not use my hope on.
True. It's all good.
So you all make your way into this room and you feel this resonance. However, Zil, you don't feel like there's anything in here. You don't sense evil. You don't even sense good. You just hear the resonance, but everybody else in the room. I'm sorry, Thordane, what was your roll too?
13 all up.
13, and Luxalia, what was yours?
Sorry, 12 all up. 12 all up.
Sorry.
Yeah, 12 all up. Sorry.
11.
Okay, Belbin, what was yours?
4.
4, and Yuki, what was yours?
Natural 16 plus 117.
So both Zil and Belbin don't feel anything one way or the other coming in here. It is light, it is bright, but Luxalia, Yuki, and Thordane, you feel this sense of, well, different senses. Yuki, as you approach, you actually begin to feel this kind of sense of safety towards one of the crystals as you begin to make your way over towards it. For Luxalia, as you approach another one, you don't know quite what it is, but you feel joy. Not like drawn, like greedily drawn towards this crystal, but like almost as if memories are beginning to flood back into you of happy times. All fear seems to kind of drop from you. And Thordane, as you make your way in, you're quite impressed with this. Being the man of science you are or used to be, this is something that you have never seen in your life either. And then you and King Farron actually fix your eyes upon one in particular, one that seems to be the most ancient of them all. You begin to approach. My question to each of the three of you is, do you want to touch these crystals?
Based off that natural 16, would bet that be something that she feels like she would be able to do with
You
the
really
safety?
feel the desire to do so.
Then she's gonna do so.
Okay.
Zill's oblivious.
Luxalia is going to pray. Amaterasu.
Make
What
a
should I
piety
do?
skill check for me, Luxalia. Thordane, what are you planning on doing? Are you booping or not?
I think very gently, with caution, he's gonna try touching it, yeah.
Touch the boat. I understand.
First and foremost, Thordane, as you begin to gently touch this, essentially this crystal, you feel immediately an energy begin, like kind of almost, not like a shock, it's not painful, but you can feel like this rush of energy from your fingertips flow into your body. And you become, from this cold place, you immediately begin to warm up. For the meantime, what arts do you have right now, Thordane? that you have currently equipped.
Should be all of them.
Yeah, I've got. Let me have a look here. Just
Should be the
trying to
bottom
find
right
them
of
on
your
here.
character sheet.
Yeah, bottom right. That's right. Yeah. I've got vanish, from sight, wounding shot, and aimed shot.
Okay.
Oh, and in the
Then you got
third, sorry,
two
I've
more.
got hunter's mending and natural utility.
Okay. Your hunter's mending art for the remainder of this dungeon heals twice the amount of damage that it normally would. So for the remainder of this
Heck yes.
dungeon. Talei, what was your roll?
I got an 8.
An 8.
Yeah.
Well, that's right on the middle. Do you want to touch or do you not want to touch?
Yeah, I'll touch it.
Given
Brings me joy.
It does. And as you begin to basically place both hands on this crystal and you look into it, similarly you feel the sense, but instead you don't feel heat that floods into your body. You feel this sense of strength as well, and you just kind of like this energy begins to radiate through your body for the remainder of the dungeon.
Is anything externally noticeable happening?
No. For the remainder of this dungeon, you gain resistance to frost type damage.
Nice.
And Yuki, you already mentioned that you're going to touch this last one.
Oh, I'm touching that butt. I am
Touching-
touching it
Touching the
with
butt.
both hands.
Touching the butt.
I'm harnessing its power.
As
This
you
is
do
Max
so-
speaking. No.
As you do so,
Sorry, go.
the glow actually begins to be sucked out of this crystal, and this is something that everyone in the room is noticing. And it doesn't seem to be flooding inside of you, Yuki, but it seems to be condensing into a small part, and immediately the gem shatters, and falling to the floor is this condensed crystal that probably about the size of like a baseball, floats down to, well, not floats, basically like thuds down to the ground through the water. And as you do so, all of the other crystals immediately lose their glow, and it becomes dark.
There's
once
no
again.
crystal left for me.
Except for the small baseball-sized chunk that is down there.
I'm sorry. This is why you don't touch things you're not supposed to. And Yuki goes down and tentatively tries to pick up the crystal.
You do so.
Yeah.
I'm gonna have you make an elemental skill check for me. Anyone who wants to investigate this can do the same.
Guys, look what I got. She holds it out.
Wow. I'll make one.
That's a 13.
Guys, I wouldn't go down there to look at it.
Non-natural 16. Let's go.
I was still cautious of the mud sharks which were down there, so I'm just gonna stay where I
That's a
am.
good point. That's a good point.
13.
13.
Don't go down there, guys. I just peed.
Oh, well, that's gonna
As the
just
lights
travel in a
go off,
cloud
it's
around
just
you,
this
Belden.
yellow cloud just automatically gets you.
Stay away from warm water.
Yeah, who was feeling warm after touching that?
Non-natural 16.
That could be the solution. Non-nat 16.
It had
with the
nothing to
crystal
do with the
is
crystal. It's just I'm swimming next to Belton.
yours. Looks all you want
Oh
your
man.
13.
13.
and then Yuki.
Yuki got a 13 too.
13.
13.
Zill, you take a look at this, and as you didn't feel any energy before, now only you can hear the resonance that is ringing from this. And as you take a look at it, you sense that it has some kind of healing property, if used correctly. This is going to be a healing stone. Essentially what it is you can make a physical strength check as a support action to attempt to break it. And all creatures within a 30-foot radius of the breaker essentially heal whatever the hit or the hit health dice value of the creature that broke it is.
Dang, that's pretty good. Who's got good hit dice?
So
2d8 for me.
2d12.
Yeah, we're gonna give it to Zil. Zil, what does this do? He hands it over to.
And I've got a 12 strength. It's not great, but it's pretty good.
But
Guys,
Yuki,
no, my
Yuki
strength
hands it over.
This is a healing stone.
What? Heal it? How do you know this, Zil?
I'm not sure.
Let me guess. Is it one of your Peter tingles that you've been getting recently?
It's
Yeah.
a big tingle.
Oh my God.
Excuse me. Who's Peter?
I don't know. You told me it was a Peter tingle one
No,
time, and
it's
I
a
didn't
Zill.
know.
I keep string voices. It's a Zill tingle.
By the way, is Waffle able to breathe under here?
Yeah, it's
Is
Waffle.
he drowning? Is he
Waffle is
drowning?
literally in the mask like this.
Oh, that's-
That is a little gross if I was from any other background.
Yeah, it's okay. You're just this street orphan urchin guy. So you're just like, oh, this is nice. This is cozy. Keeps your cheeks warm. I'm gonna have Belbin and Thordane, both of you make a wisdom or focus skill checks for me.
Come on. Wisdom or focus?
Or focus, yep.
12.
12.
Nat 16.
Oh.
Oof.
Let's go.
We needed Ikari
3.
here, is all I have to
So
say.
plus 16, so that's 19. 19
Belbin,
altogether.
Belbin and Thordane, your weariness isn't for naught. As you look around and you see everyone make their way kind of down to the bottom to collect this stone, the water itself almost seems to become cold. But Thordane, you specifically can hear what sounds like a rush of a current. You have just a moment to warn everybody before a large current comes in order to flood basically this chamber. You have a moment to do so.
Everybody brace yourselves.
Which, by doing so, everybody gets hope on this roll. Agility
Nice.
survival checks for me.
Oh my gosh.
Okay.
That's a 12 for Yuki.
We have a
Okay.
hope, right?
Hope, yep.
If you have hope, yeah.
Who are the two?
Sorry,
agility.
Really, Zil.
agility survival.
Yes. I rolled 2 2s. 6 total. But I rolled 2 2s.
13.
I'm freaking. Oh,
13.
God.
1 3.
Okay.
It's
Belbin,
okay.
what was yours?
18.
18.
10.
10. And Yuki, what was yours?
12.
And King Farrand was a 16. And so with
Bye,
that,
Zil.
What a stud.
and so
Zill's
with that,
just
this
gone.
boom, and it picks basically everyone. You're able to brace yourselves to a degree, whether it's grabbing onto some of the rocks at the side. But Zil, as you're holding this rock and you're looking at it, it hits you by force. You're like, what? And then boom, and it basically slams you against the back wall. You are going to be taking
No.
7 points of cutting damage.
You're fine. Tough it out, big
No.
baby. It's okay.
I'm at 141 HP. Whatever shall I do?
Yes, and then like as soon as this comes, and it crashes against you, it immediately dissipates. And King Farrand, he looks to all of you and says, "Is everybody okay?" And he swims his way down over to Zil to kind of check you out. And there's not even like so much as a dent or a scratch on your armor, Zil. You basically just slam against the rocks, and it's more kind of like head trauma as you whack your head against kind of from your neck. And he kind of examines you and checks it and says, "We need to be much more careful going forward. Clearly there's something here that doesn't want us to be. Something ancient."
I think it's me. I don't want to be here.
We have a purpose and a mission, Zil.
I know.
So you're not
I
ancient.
know. Good point. I'm the youngest one here, aren't I?
Yeah.
Yeah.
The most
Oh,
ancient
how
one
old
is probably King Farrand.
I don't know. Belvin's pretty old. So is Thordane, though.
Luxali, you're so
Okay.
predictable.
Pretty sure Zill's 20.
Oh wow, yeah, you're young.
I'm young.
Thordane's like 100 and something, right?
Yeah,
I
I
don't
think so.
remember.
Or something.
I don't remember.
I don't
100
actually
or
know.
something. I think he's like 160 something, or I don't know, something like that. FYI, elves in this world are not immortal. Like the maximum like lifespan of like an elf is like 750 years. So they can live really long, but they aren't immortal. So
That's basically how old Belvin is.
he looks pretty good for being 750
Yeah,
years.
man.
With his
Come on.
bazillion
Or a
ab
Goliath.
muscles.
Yeah.
I picture a Goliath at 750-year-old, like that one SpongeBob episode with like chewicklets. I remember when they first
Yeah.
invented like the spine thing that like has like a head
Yeah.
in the wheelchair.
Nice.
But anyways, with that warning, you make your way, all of you, back out to kind of the main tunnel. I'm gonna have, I'm assuming you're gonna keep the same marching order.
Yeah, it's Yuki's light out at this point. Last 30
Yes.
minutes total.
Yes, yes.
Okay. Do you want
And
me to
you are
light it
basically
again?
being led by the 10-foot glow of King Farron, which means that he's going to take a place up front too.
Well, just maybe we all hold hands.
Lions and tigers and bears.
Oh my!
Trachora and sharks and currents. Oh my.
Oh my!
Oh my. Is anyone else joining King Farron at the front?
We're all gonna
Zil.
crowd around him, right?
All right, Zil,
Yeah,
roll a
I'm gonna-
d6 for me.
I have to.
You can do it, Zil.
4.
4. As you make your way, probably for another 10 minutes down these corridors, you look around and you see that there are no signs of mud sharks that are below you. Oh, God bless you. There are no signs of mud sharks that are below you, but it's muddy, it's dark to see. It's hard to see, it's dark. You slowly make your way. God bless you again. You slowly make your way through these tunnels, trying to keep on a similar path, but again, they start to splinter in every direction. And you turn down this one kind of alcove, and you find yourself at a dead end in a chamber. However, you see that it is a relatively empty chamber, except for what looks to be a crack in the floor. This crack is quite large, and it's not large enough to be able to squeeze through, but you can almost hear something whispering from the other side.
Can only Zil hear it?
Everybody that enters this room can hear it. It's a whisper, it's quiet, and it's kind of muffled. What languages does everybody know?
Yuki whispers, is that why they call them crack Cora? Does they live in cracks?
Boo.
Ever speech Draken in Regalian.
Okay.
Coded and Glyvin and Everspeech.
Okay.
Where? am I looking
Everspeech,
for this one?
Glyvin, and
Does that
along
be at the
with
bottom
on the
left?
left side at the very bottom, yeah.
Bottom
So
left.
other languages.
Oh yeah, I got it.
Glyvin and Alomnic.
Okay.
Everspeech, Estria, and Fellspeech.
Okay. And Zil. Oh, can't hear you, buddy. 3 languages.
I forgot I muted myself for my sneezes. Aldornian, Draken, and Voiden. And Everspeech, but that's everyone.
Why are you so smart?
None of you actually can understand what is being said, but I'm going to have all of you make knowledge skill checks for me. These are going to be with a despair.
Oh no.
That's the
Zil
opposite of hope.
Yeah,
Mhm.
opposite of hope, so disadvantage.
Gosh, knowledge.
That's a 9 for Yuki.
Okay.
That's a 3 for Belbin.
4 for Zil.
Oh,
Oh
my
my
gosh.
lord.
What was it? Knowledge?
Knowledge skill
Yeah.
check. Yep.
6.
6.
Thornton, save us!
So with the
Hey,
despair,
six is
do I-
barely below
Despair,
average.
it's
You
2, take
roll-
the lower. Roll 2
Okay.
dice, take the lower.
Despair's brutal.
It hurts.
No, that doesn't look good. No.
Nat 1.
Ah!
So that's a total of 4.
Hey, my 6 is looking pretty good.
My
So-
9.
None of you are able to understand anything that's coming from here, and because of this, you look around and you see that this tends to be a dead end, and so you make your way back out into the main corridor again. Nothing is gained, nothing is lost from coming inside here.
King Farron, you didn't understand what that was?
Unfortunately,
looks
the
all your
language
voice.
doesn't seem to. Yeah, no, he rolled like a natural 4, which would have brought it up to like a 7, so he didn't understand.
Sully, are you doing okay? That you got a little frog in your throat?
Yeah, it's the pressure difference down here. Really brings the voice down.
Oh, I
It's the opposite of helium.
Yeah. Yeah. Yep.
Anyways, you make your way out to the main corridor. Zill, I'm gonna have you roll a d6 for me.
But what if I don't want to? 3.
3. Again, you continue swimming down these corridors, but to your left, you see that the current path that you're going down comes to an end, and it splits into 2 ways. One of they both look just as dark, but you veer to the left side. So basically, boom, you have a wall in front of you, and then there's a corridor that splits into 2 paths. Which path do you want to pick, Zill? Or I guess you can collaborate with the group. What paths shall you pick?
Guys, there's 2 paths.
Well,
Did
I
we
want to
diverge
take
in
the
a
one.
Yellowwood?
Let's
Yeah,
take
I'll
the
take
one
the one
less
less
traveled.
traveled.
Jinx.
That will make all the difference.
I
Well
agree.
said it.
Is there one that seems more traveled?
Make wisdom or focus skill checks for me. All of you.
Ikari, do you know that poem?
Not by heart, but I do know the song, yeah.
Two woods diverge, another one. Yeah.
2 paths diverge.
Oh, that's a natural. Yeah, that's a natural 16
13.
for Yuki.
15.
13.
For an 18.
What was the check again?
Wisdom
Knowledge.
or focus. Wisdom or focus.
Oh,
Which is the same dice.
then that would be a
16.
19. That'd be a 19.
15
15.
altogether.
All of you look kind of at the past to see if there's any kind of determination about which path to take. On the left, it seems to be definitely less traveled. It's not quite as muddy or cloudy from the dirt and the soot. But on the right, Yuki, you can just barely make out what look to be bioluminescent algae that has begun to slowly, or kind of faintly glow, as like a trail on the bottom of the seafloor.
Yuki squints her eyes and she points it out to the rest of the party and King Farron. I see some. What is that? It's glowing. Maybe bioluminescent algae per se.
Yeah, it's something that's glowing. And King Farron, he looks to you and says, "Indeed." And he examines it a little bit. Yuki, make a knowledge skill check, and it's going to be with hope because of King Farron.
Let's go.
Knowledge, you said?
Knowledge.
Okay, that is a 14.
As you discuss together, kind of what this could mean, one of the things that King Farron kind of divulges to you about the sea is this kind of algae is not only used to mark paths, to mark ways, but it usually survives where there is other living creatures. It kind of feasts off like the flaking like skin. That's how it grows.
Yeah, Yuki turns to him and says, well, if we're on the path to find your daughter, maybe it's best we move towards the direction of living things, perhaps? The other path, I didn't sense anything or I didn't see anything.
what do the rest of the party think?
This is your daughter now, Gorik Kragheim. And Yuki turns back to the rest of the party. That's what I meant. Now, Gorik Kragheim, you look like a draken to me, don't you? Anyways, turns to the party.
You look to see who you're talking to.
Oh, you're just both majestic and kingly, in a sense. You remind me of each other. Maybe you should go get some coffee after this is all done. Catch up.
It's the plan.
Anyways, and asks, and I give the information that living things are most likely down here because the bioluminescence glow and it feasts on the flesh of others who come through. Shedding flesh, I should say, not like their actual flesh. Maybe it does. I don't know.
No, it doesn't mean it. Basically like the dandruff kind of.
It's like the dead skin cells and
Yeah.
stuff. Yeah. What do you think? Which path?
I say towards the light.
But I thought we said we'd take the one less traveled.
Yeah.
If we follow the path of the light, I think there's more chance of us being seen. But it's possibly the safer of the two paths, though.
Again, Thordane, where is this all coming from today? It feels like you've been silent for so long.
He's been
He
ruminating.
hasn't hit his head
ruminating
yet.
on
Maybe
it.
we should have that happen first.
Oh, yeah.
You keep resisting the currents. Bill already hit his head.
It's true.
Belbin, what do you say?
Zil, while hitting his head, actually flailed and smacked Thornton.
It's all,
Boot to
he's
the dome.
underwater, rebirth, symbolism.
Baptized to the depths of Talei.
Oh
Yeah.
Lord.
Alright.
So down the glowing path. Does anyone else have any naysayers?
I
Are there any
say,
other naysayers?
I say we take
We
the
left
dark
all the
path.
horses
Don't
back
I
there.
think we should trust my finding abilities.
Are you a Hufflepuff? Where do we go?
I am a Hufflepuff.
Well then, Zil, what do you think?
So we have what? Belbin's the dark path. Who says light path?
Well, that makes sense. He's full of darkness.
So 2 light paths, 3 light paths. Thordane, dark path or light path?
He's
Honestly, I
indecisive.
think I'm indecisive. That's the problem. I think the dark path is
That's-
possibly more dangerous, but you have more chance of being stealthy if it is less light.
Indecisive is
The king does have light.
true to Thordane's character.
I should just answer everything with like a.
Maybe.
Oh,
Well, you're no help, Captain.
That's
well, what are you thinking, Farrand? It's
Farron, you
3
got a
to
first
1 to
name
1.
baseness?
Indeed, I guess.
Wow.
But he says.
That's Mr. King Farron.
Mr. That's Doc.
Show some
King
respect,
Farron.
Yuki.
I spent 8 years in medical school. I'm pretty called this here. No. He says you all make valid points. On the one hand, if we do go down this dark path, who knows where we can go? We do have my light, but if we do go down the path where there is life, perhaps there is a chance that we could encounter my daughter, but perhaps other creatures. Krakora mostly.
Well, we're here for your daughter.
I'm surprised you
We
didn't
are
want to
here
go.
for my daughter, but
Yeah, I'm surprised you didn't want to.
unfortunately, I'm unfamiliar with these paths as well. If we do go down the dark paths, as Thordane had mentioned, I do find that we could probably, perhaps, stealth our way to be able to, let's just say, not stir up the nest. That's just by my intuition. If we go down this path, perhaps we might find my daughter, as long as you are all ready to fight.
Belbin, do you want to punch something? Or do you want
I
to
think
sneak?
Darkness. I think darkness is our ally.
Well, Belvin, I know that that's your thing, and I know you're going into fits of madness and rage. I get it. I heard of this superhero called the Man That Is a Bat. You remind me of that legend.
A man bat.
Slightly. Yeah.
The man who is
A man bat.
Some say he fought crime, but others say he was broody. He came from a rich family. Is that you?
Man bat. I am man bat.
Where are the other drugs going?
You know what?
Which path
I
are you taking?
kinda.
Back in my home city, they used to shine a light in the sky of an outline of a man. So that's how they would call me.
With bat ears.
Yeah.
Oh, God.
Something I was thinking about is every time the rush of the current comes, the water gets a lot colder. So if one of the two paths feels colder, maybe we should be avoiding that one.
Okay.
Thordain, where is this coming from?
Thanks for bringing us back, Thordain. We were going down a rabbit hole.
I was thinking this as like a spiritual philosophical question. So, I should have found the light.
With that, Thordain, I'm gonna have you make a wisdom or focus skill check for me.
Luxalia, I was right there with you. Belbin, he needs to seek the light a little bit more, I think.
Alright, let's say
Man bat. That's how
12.
you should have heard me now.
Roll with a. Did you say wisdom or focus?
Or focus, yeah.
Okay, so add the 4 focus, so that's a 16. All up.
16. You
Let's go.
feel which path seems to have a current or which path seems colder. The dark path on your left, there seems to be, it's completely stagnant. There is a small amount of current moving on the illuminated path.
Current.
Okay.
And it is a little colder.
Yep, I'm reiterating. I think we should go down the dark path.
Luxalia, do you want to take the dark side with us?
No, but I'll try to be a light in the darkness.
Be the
Doesn't
candle
armor
in
glow
the
or not
current.
anymore?
What was that?
Doesn't Luxalia's armor glow or no? Not anymore.
Not anymore.
Not anymore. Yeah. It's been a while.
Not since phase 2.
Not since phase 2.
Darn.
Phase 2 of the Everlast CU. Or the
Okay.
ECU.
Which way am I going?
Dark.
Flip a coin.
You
I'm
can
not
if
in
you
front,
want.
so
If
I'll
you're,
follow
if you're
whatever.
divided.
Said. I'm alright either way.
I think
How do you
Okay, who's-
take your coffee, Zill?
Who's dark? Who's light? Hands
dark
up.
What?
side.
Coffee.
Or
dark.
light?
3
Lots of
dark.
cream.
How many light do we have? We got 3 dark. How many light?
Zill's undecided.
Again, we just flipped.
The darks have it. The darks
It's
have
fine,
it.
the dark. We'll go in the dark. But Zill, how do you take your coffee?
What's coffee?
Dark it is, I guess.
You make your way down the dark quarters. Again, it's the same murkiness, pretty stagnant, but you do continue downwards this way. I am going to have all of you make wisdom skill checks for me.
Of course. 10 plus
10.
13.
9.
13, 9,
15.
15.
18.
Okay. Yeah, you're all able to kind of feel your way through here. It's gotten to the point where this path itself has become narrower and narrower and narrower until you eventually, after about 3 minutes, come to the end of the road. There is nothing there except for at the bottom, laying along the bottom, are a number of crates.
Wow.
Do we open the crates?
Should I donkey
Heck
kick
yeah,
them?
we do. Yes.
Quietly.
Okay, she quietly donkey kicks a crate.
Can you quietly donkey kick?
Can you donkey kick
In the water. Yeah, Donkey Kong kick in the water.
in the water?
A little difficult.
Okay.
I'm gonna have you make a physical skill check at
I will support her back.
normally.
Thanks, Luxalia.
Yes.
Physical. That is a dirty 16.
Dirty 16. You're able to pretty easily smash these crates. They seem really, really old. They almost, it's kind of like, wet paper, just kind of flake away as you do so.
Satisfying.
Yeah,
Tongue
it's,
kicking up.
it's crazy. I'm gonna have you make a focus skill check for me, Yuki.
It's a 12 plus. Focus. 12 plus 3, 15.
15.
Yeah.
You find a lot of nothing. Most of the, basically organic matter has been completely gone. You can tell that a number of these were actually food crates and whatnot, but you do see after one of the crates that you smashed completely, there seems to be something metal that's there. And as you reach
metal.
down to hold it up to your face, you find a set of elven steel chainmail.
Ooh. Is this what
Nice.
kind of armor's chainmail again? Is that medium armor?
That is medium armor. So that's the highest in medium armor.
Dang, well that's awesome. I hold it up to King Farron. What
As
do you
you
make of
hold it
this?
up, it almost seems weightless as you hold it up to him. He takes a look at it and he says, "This looks ancient, but it's clearly elven made. From what I heard, long ago, there was an elven civilization that did dwell in these parts. This perhaps could be from them."
What is this? What's the elemental or what's the modifier to it? What is it? Rare? Is it?
This is going to be a uncommon, so it's a steel chainmail, but
Okay.
it's got half the weight. So basically, you take the weight of chainmail and you cut it in half. So
So does that mean instead of +4 plus the defense, it's 5 plus the defense?
hold on, let me double check to see what my notes say.
I was thinking this could be really good for. Well, I don't know. Does Thordane? I can't remember. Does Thordane get bonuses for wearing light armor?
I don't believe so. I think it just has more to do with what you're proficient with, and I don't think he's proficient with chainmail.
We can hold on to her for at least. Okay. Well, we'll save this for later.
Yeah.
Potentially, this could be useful for someone.
So chainmail is 4 plus your defense value, and you need a minimum strength of 9 in order to carry it. And it normally is going to be like 45 pounds, but because it's elven, it's 20 pounds.
Well, sucks for Thordane. He can't use it. Poor Thordane.
It's
Why are you
something
such
to
a
have.
weakling?
Something to have.
Why are you such a weakling? What the heck? Okay, all right. You keep putting it in her backpack. Elven chainmail.
Actually,
armor.
the elven chainmail, because it is elven, it gets rid of the 9 strength value. Anybody can.
It doesn't matter that you are weak, Thordane. You could potentially wear this one day. And she puts it in her bag.
Cool.
So,
And with that, you basically, so if you're not proficient with it, you would get the +4 to your armor. Basically, it would just be, but you wouldn't add your defense value to it. So
What's Thordane currently wearing? He's wearing oiled leather. Is that pretty good?
pretty good.
Yeah,
Oiled
oiled
leather.
leather.
Pretty good.
Yeah, I think it's a +2, maybe +1. I think it might be +1.
I think. Well,
Maybe.
either way, that is better than that chainmail, potentially. So
Potentially.
there you go.
Anyways, and so
Right, continue.
You have come to the end of the road, meaning the only other place to go is back out down the algae lit path.
I guess the dark side worked out.
Darkness was our ally.
Like the man bat. That's what
Yep.
That's what he says.
I was born in the darkness, so I knew it would be good to us.
I was raised by it.
Molded by it.
Oh Lord. Okay. Well, yeah, there you go.
You make your way the 3 minutes back to the where it diverges. do you plan on going down this path, or do you wish to head backwards?
Well, there's only one way but forward, I'd like to say.
I will
What is the
note.
rest of the...
I will note that this is a series of very complex tunnels, and so you don't know if you're going forward or not. This is just one of the intersections that you've come to. You've
We're
been
just
taking
going.
various corridors, so like FYI, like you don't necessarily know if you're going forward. You might be returning towards the the outside of the ocean. You have no idea. Just to throw that in there.
King Farron, what is your intuition? Tell us.
My intuition is that NPCs shouldn't make all the decisions.
Well, we agreed, but you are the king of these seas.
I am the king of these seas. Let me make a roll. I have a very strong intuition that this is the right path.
Okay. Well, I agree with King Farron. Forward we go.
Zill takes his axe out and just goes. He's ready.
Slowly. Very slowly.
Very slowly.
Dun,
Annoyingly slowly.
dun, 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 dun. Okay.
As you make your way down this path, you swim for about 5 minutes, and the algae becomes much more abundant as you grow basically further and further, and it seems almost like the murkiness begins to dissipate. After about 5 minutes, you find yourself out into what looks to be an incredibly large chasm. You can intuit that this is the center of the mountain. And inside the center of the mountain, you see what looks to be a very long, drawn-out blanket of murk that probably falls about 50 feet below you. There is a small winding path that was used back in the day to descend further into the mountain. But from what you can see, this is probably about a 200 to 300 foot, like from floor to ceiling cavern. And again, about 50 feet kind of below you. You're raised about 50 feet, and probably about 30 feet below you, there is this kind of murk that is it has like settled, kind of like as if like something is moving around, disturbing like the floor down there, but it's basically putting up all this sediment, and so it's creating this barrier. But you find yourself occupied in a darkened ruin, and you can see the tips of what look to be towers, as if there is a city that was there, a city preserved by time and a city preserved by the ocean. You have towering rock walls on either side, and it's in a dome shape. Essentially, yeah, these were mountain-dwelling people that used to live here. The submerged ruins that you can see from the tips of them that you're able to see are covered with what look to be small bioluminescent seaweed and algae as well, as if like it is covering the sides. And so, but as you go further and further up, it becomes dark once again, and so you're unable to see everything except for one thing. I have all of you make focus skill checks for me.
Oh no.
It's a 10.
It's a 12.
17.
18.
15.
All of you become very, very aware of the fact that up above the ruined city, there is not simply just open water, but an abundance of sea life. Bioluminescent sea life. The cast glows in every direction, but swimming out amongst them is a large, enormous, prehistoric creature. It stretches probably a solid 70 or 80 feet from front to back, and it has along its side bioluminescent glowings from it, and you can see what look to be glowing eyes of blue, as if death itself has been basically washed away from this, and it has been brought back from beyond. It is an enormous...
Is this Azeldun?
It is an enormous shark-like creature. This is not Azeldun.
Okay.
Oh, thank goodness.
But
That
it
was my
seems-
first thought.
It seems to be patrolling the upper reaches of this dome. And with that, we're going to go ahead and end our session for the night.
Oh my gosh.
Undead murderfish.
Oh my gosh.
So
Well,
yes,
let's not attract that thing.
the depths of
Let's not
Talei
do
Talei. I'm glad that you made it through the first section of it. So that's fun.
Oh my goodness. What?
Quickly before
Oh,
we leave and depart for the day, for the night, each one of you, I want to know your thoughts about tonight's session and going forward. A lot of it was kind of like the role play aspect of it, but we'll talk a little bit more in depth after I hear your guys' thoughts. But let's go ahead and start with kind of reverse order. Let's go ahead and start with Dane.
Okay. Well, first and foremost, glad to be back and glad to have a full party. Wow,
Yes.
that's
Let's
great.
go.
That's what I'm saying. Like, I mean, technically we've had a full party a lot of times, but I don't have to role play 2 people. I can't tell you, Ikari, how nice it was not having to roll for 2 people. That was amazing. That was absolutely amazing. You're rolling way better than I rolled for Thordane, so let's keep that up. Let's keep that up, buddy.
The best
no,
Thordane rolling yet.
I know. It
Even with
came
the
in
nat
clutch. I'll tell
Even
you,
with a nat
it
one.
happens.
Wow.
You rolled
You
enough
can't
good
be
things.
rolling worse than Zill. It's just not possible.
No one rolls worse than he does. Anyway, so no, but ultimately it was really
I don't know,
fun.
Luke.
True. Glad to be back. I'm glad everyone is very talkative today. That was great. I loved everyone's input. I loved all of the witty humor, the seriousness, the decision making, even though King Farron was deciding a lot of things. It's good. He's the tie-breaking vote, is what he is. And you know, just ultimately, I'm just really glad to be back, and I'm happy to really be exploring this game again because I feel like it's been way too long. So I'm happy with it.
Absolutely.
Good sessions.
All right. Thordane, Ikari, what were your thoughts on tonight? So is this, okay, question to you. Is this your first time playing any kind of, like, role-playing game like this? Or have you been introduced to this kind of type of game before?
It's not my first time. It's the first time in a while, but it's not my first time. I've played some tabletop before.
Got it.
I'm
Well,
a little rusty though. I think,
That's
which is
okay.
probably
We're
clear.
all a little bit rusty here. Like I'm still like racking my brain because weekly we play D&D 5e, and I'm just like, all right. It's not this. It's this. And so I get that. But anyways, thoughts on tonight's session. Your first session for.
Well,
Everlast.
first off, it was great to finally be part of it because it's been, I have, life circumstances have meant that hasn't been possible up till now, so that's awesome. I'm obviously not quite into the character yet, so hopefully that will come in time. I'm looking forward to getting to know Thordane a bit more. For the session itself, though, I thought it was awesome. I loved what happened. Everyone's really funny, so that was great.
This is a fun group to play with.
Haven't hit my head yet, so still need that.
Gotcha. Maybe a giant shark will do that for you.
Let's see. Oh, Zill actually rolled well, so he didn't just trip into you. The one time he rolls well.
Maybe next time. Maybe next
Fate
time
has not decided for him to become
we'll get a concussed Thordane who forgets everything. So we'll see.
Well, great. Well, thank you so much for joining. I know it's been, again, life circumstances have kept you away, but we're very glad that we're finally able to get everybody together and be able to explore a little bit, especially as upcoming sessions will have more opportunities for combat and some of the more mechanics. But I think a dungeon's a very good kind of first dipping your toe into the world of Everlast, as it's not quite as focused on roleplay, and there's definitely still lots of decision making and that kind of stuff. So really appreciate you being here. We'll talk later. We'll get you some more acquaintance with Thordane and just kind of the world of Everlast. But
Fantastic.
yeah, there you go. Yeah,
Fantastic.
it's good stuff. But thanks, appreciate that, Ikari. Connor, your thoughts about today?
Yeah, no, I thought it was a good balance of role play and then also like adventuring, exploring, never knowing what's going to happen next, like around every corner. You never know whether you're going to get into pickle of some sort, or you're gonna have to find your way out of it. So I thought it was good. There was enough humor, but I'm surprised King Farron isn't hating us because we're not taking this seriously at all. So yeah.
King Farron is me, and I'm enjoying the time, so he's just being amused, I guess.
We're taking it as seriously as we've ever taken anything. We've accomplished a lot, so it's okay.
That's fair.
You have there's a method to the madness.
Yeah. But no, I thought it was good. Yeah, I liked the suspense of not knowing what's happening next, but something that could always go wrong, you know?
100%.
We're always one bad roll away.
It's true. And especially with like the group roles, like today was a lot of group roles. The way that works, and mechanically speaking, is depending on what is happening, the majority of those are like if more than half pass, then the group passes. And so but you guys were rolling like crazy, like in all of the group roles, all of you were at least going above the minimum, and so like there was like no fear that you guys were going to like the group stealth check and like all that kind of stuff. So there were a couple of ones where like everybody rolled that were like individual, like for example the rush of water, that smacked Zill up a little bit, but yeah, so the majority of those, that's kind of how that works. And also some of the group roles is like, for example, if you're like exploring and investigating, whoever's the highest roll is going to be the one to notice whatever is the whatever's going on, and because of that, allows them to use kind of their own skills and insights to be able to kind of figure that out. So you're kind of competing in a way against each other with dice rolls for some things, but it's good. You guys are doing a good job. But yeah, it was good. It was a fun session for sure. But Cole, what were your thoughts? I know it's very late for you, so we'll let you go here pretty soon. But
Thanks. Yeah, no, it was fun. Good to be back. Yeah, I mean, I'm interested to get back into combat at some point.
yes, in the Discord.
I'm curious.
Guys, join that Discord for everybody here, not you guys out there, but guys here, join the Discord. I'm gonna start posting a lot more like helpful things to be able to help you guys get reacquainted, to be able to look at, to be able to study. Our Discord server is going to be the place to go if you have any questions, and if you do have any questions just regularly about anything, if you want to chat about Everlast, go there, because that's going to be where everything happens. So
Sweet.
Connor, if you'd like, I can help you after today's stream if you have any time set you up the Discord if you like. It's pretty
Cool.
simple, pretty easy. So
Cool.
sweet.
Yeah.
Cool. Sorry to interrupt.
No, you're good. I'm curious, did we avoid any combat
We did.
encounters?
The stealth check avoided, so that one on the navigation roll basically got you out of the combat with the 4 mud sharks. So that could have been fun. But yes, you did avoid one combat. Not all combats are going to be unavoidable, but especially because you can't use healing items, the more combats you can avoid in this dungeon, probably the better. Because usually dungeons, like most of it is like healing items to be able to rely on, but now you really have to focus on like the rock that you got and then all that kind of stuff. So yeah, absolutely, you did avoid one combat. The one in
Dwayne
normal
the
combat
Rock
bit.
Johnson.
So
Sweet.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, it was fun. Again, it was good to be back with everyone. Have some good banter. Forget that I'm muted half the time. Drop my voice halfway through. Yeah, I mean, I think the only... I'm used to going to bed a little earlier, so I'm a little tired, but I'll push through. I'll figure out a way. We'll get there.
Cole, maybe you should start
So,
drinking coffee. How's that sound?
tea has caffeine.
Or, just more tea, but I know.
Green tea has more caffeine
I had
than
some iced
coffee.
tea,
All right.
Perfect.
especially
Uh,
matcha. Tea is superior, I agree, but yeah, so it was good to be back.
Great. And Max. Finally, Max.
It's so good to be back. I've missed this game. I was so sad when the last 2 were canceled.
I was
But happy to be back. This was an interesting session because it's like, on the one hand, Zill is very terrified of being underwater and just that constant mental anguish, but also is very much aware of what his role in the party should be. Of okay, I can take punches the best. So he's like, well, I don't want to be here, but I also need to be in front and pushing forward. So it's definitely still figuring out how to balance those from a role playing perspective, but that's definitely what's going through his head of,
For sure.
well, they all want to go down the dark path. I don't want to be here at all.
I will say
Let's
that,
go down the dark path.
from my perspective, like it was very fun to be able to see where like not everyone's always in agreement. I think it's very like the party dynamics are really good where it's just like you can actually genuinely like each of you kind of have your own say and make a vote, and then you even saw to the point where like you went from one end where like everyone wanted to go down the light path to like okay, everybody well at least is in relative agreements of going down the dark path, which that's what led you to the treasure. So yeah, it's just one of those things where I think everything that was brought up, all that you guys said, like you guys are thinking very logically through some of like these puzzles, which are really great because I enjoy being able to see that, which is why like as King Farron, I don't want to be the deciding factor of like, especially when it comes to those type of things. It's like, what do you think? And it's just like, all right. So that's why I rolled. I was like, and then he got like a 15 like on his roll. So he's like, okay, he has a general idea of where to go. But yeah, it's just one of the things that I really enjoy about you guys is you're just not always like in complete agreement with things. I don't obviously want everyone to be bickering or fighting or anything, but I think it's realistic, which is good. You guys have all of your thoughts and your own input and reasoning behind things, and you can see how it sways the conversation from one way to the other. So that was fun to be able to experience. I've been working on this dungeon for quite a while, and so that's one thing that I'm really excited about is you're being able to explore like Zill with you making all of like your D6 navigation rolls. You didn't re-roll the same thing once, so that was really cool. Being able to pretty much go through the vast majority of this first part of the dungeon and seeing most of like the hidden alcoves, because it could have easily, you could have rolled a 6, made your way all the way through the dungeon, like this first part of the dungeon, without encountering the crystals, without encountering the loot, without encountering the voice. You still don't know what the voice is about, but that was a thing. That was a part of the puzzle. But yeah, it's really, really neat. So I'm really enjoying it. You guys are amazing, truly, and I can't wait to get more involved. And for the rest of everybody that's watching, you guys here to be able to experience more of this dungeon, because it's a doozy. There's a lot to come. So
Got undead sharks.
yes. Sorry, Max. I didn't mean to cut you off if you were talking.
I didn't have much more to say.
Dane, why don't you go ahead and tell us some updates, some stream shenanigans for the upcoming week?
Yeah, so for those of you who have not joined our official Fantasy Forge Discord, feel free to do so. We post the weekly schedule every Sunday, American time, so feel free to take that. It should be Monday Eastern time. But yeah, we have lots of streams. Now that I moved back to America, streaming is kind of my full-time job now, and getting all the social medias and all that kind of in order. So little by little, we're going to be starting to add a lot more content, a lot more things. What do we have? Like 9 streams total this week. It's crazy. We had so many streams this week. And tomorrow, the next thing that's coming up, we have my brand new series that I'm starting, which is Saturday Challenge slash it's like a challenge days as well as like community days in a sense. So we're going to be starting with Pokemon Let's Go Eevee. We're going to be doing a Nuzlocke with that, and we're going to be doing it interactive with the audience. So again, that's 2 p.m. Mountain Daylight Time right now. And so basically what that's going to be happening is we're going to do normal Nuzlocke stuff. It might be slightly modified to make it a little bit easier so we're not constantly having to restart. But what we're going to be doing is when we encounter new Pokemon, we roll new Pokemon, we're going to be playing games like marbles in order to, if you win in marbles, then the Pokemon's named after you. So we're going to make it more interactive than just more normal streams. So people, please come. Please join us. It should be a great time, but we're going to be doing challenge type stuff. So we're starting with Nuzlocks, but we could be doing anything from like speed runs. We could be doing anything from, I don't know, like extended long streams, like completing a game in one stream type thing. But they're going to be more like geared towards challenge type streams and more interaction from the audience. So those are going to be my new Saturday streams. But next week, we got lots of fun stuff. So next week's going to be a little bit different. So I'm actually going on vacation to Florida. So I will not be streaming on Thursday of next week, but I will be here through Wednesday. But our current schedule through Wednesday, Kyle will be streaming on Sunday American time, but Monday Japan time. His normal stream time, again, check out the Discord for the times for those. And then I'll be streaming. I'll continue, or Kyle will be streaming that. We have a movie night on that night as well. And then we also have, and Kyle, what are you playing? Tears of the
I'm
Kingdom still?
continuing with Tears of the Kingdom. We're collecting the rest of the shrines before beating it. I took everything with me to not watch your final stream of Tears of the Kingdom.
It was
with
really good.
the final
It was real
Ganondorf
good.
fight, because I'm like,
I cried
need
like
this to
3
be
times.
I need this to be a secret, and so I was like, ugh, I can't watch his stream today. But we'll get there probably in about 2 weeks. So
I cried. I literally cried like 3 times, 3 separate times.
ugh.
Papa Forge had to come in and give me a hug because I was crying so much. It was good. anyways, yes, but I will be streaming on Wednesday night. Well, we have Adventures in Middle Earth as well as one of Kyle's streams. And Adventures in Middle Earth is our D&D campaign we do with that weekly, so come join us for that. And then I will be continuing my playthrough of Octopath Traveler 2, which has been really, really fun so far. So come join us. It's a fun week ahead. And then we have a wonderful sponsor, DaiSNACki, Japanese luxury sweets and treats.
Yeah, they serve a number of things, from popular Japanese goods in their omakase box to traditional Japanese sweets in their omakase lux box. And then they also have character boxes for kind of your popular like anime related type goods. They have specific character boxes from Disney to Sanrio to Nintendo and Pokemon. And then they also have their summer Omatsuri box that is out right now, which is for a limited time. It's their summer special. As the summer's starting to come to a close, make sure you check them out. It comes with a nice summer carrying bag for all of your goodies, along with 30 Dagashi and then 2 Ramune, I think, to be able to share. So kind of a fun little box, but they're a Tokyo-based family company that they serve the worldwide free international shipping, which is crazy. But if you do order from them, make sure you say that Fantasy Forge sent you, as it does help us out. And put your Twitch name as well. Essentially, if you do that, you'll get points towards basically raffle tickets when we hit our our referral limit. They're going to give away a free omakase box, so that'll be fun. It's going to be good, and hopefully sometime soon that's going to happen. We'll let you know when we do reach that point. But I think that's it. That it, bro?
Yep, that's it. I don't have anything else you need to say. Anyone else have any announcements?
I mean, as of now, Cold Forge Great Axe is still on.
No problem.
Pause.
Take your time, guys. Take your time.
Nerd. Life stuff is crazy.
Big life changes.
Also, equipment is a big question mark as well.
It is not cheap to stream, that's for sure. So we'll work through it. We'll get there.
With Dane back, so how far Colaway was from me, Dane now is.
Mm-hmm.
So
yeah, maybe we can do something.
Maybe do some stuff. If y'all
sure,
have
for
some ideas that you want me and Forge to do, let us know.
All I'll say is don't wear anything green when you come over.
At the
You
moment,
will disappear.
it won't be frequent because life is crazy. But if you want some one-off competitions, some co-op ridiculousness, we can make that happen.
Also,
I'm
don't
sure
wear
we'll-
yellow because you'll also disappear. I learned. I tried to wear this shirt the other day on stream. I was a floating head.
Dude, we never finished Cuphead.
No, we're on like the last level of Cuphead. It's a little
Yeah.
annoying.
You'll get there.
Classic.
You'll get
Oh,
there.
man.
Well, you guys will be
Anyways.
back eventually, but you take care of your lives and
Yeah.
everything first.
Yeah.
We have not forgotten about Cold Forge Great Axe, we promise. It's just, we're poor. And a laptop or desktop to stream from is expensive.
Very expensive, yes, for sure.
There was a good sale at Costco I saw today. That's all I have to say about that.
Oh,
All right.
Anyways.
The next time we will be
I'm for it.
streaming Everlast Adventures is going to be, for those on the west side of the world, it's going to be on the 8th of Friday, and for those of us on the east side of the world, Australia and Japan, all those that watch us from this part of the world, it's going to be on the 9th of September. And so it's going to be a couple of weeks away from now, but yeah, we're already moving into the autumn time. Thank God, as it is beasting hot here in Japan. It's insane. But hopefully it'll start cooling down and getting warmer for you in Australia. But yeah, it's fall time and springtime. Those are good times to be alive. But yeah, we're going to see you guys in 2 weeks. So next Friday or next Saturday, depending on where you are. But until then, unless anyone else has anything to say, I think we're going to go ahead and leave it off there. May Alomnia guide each and every one of you, and have a very good and blessed rest of your week. See you guys next week.
Bye, guys.